So basically, when you have a building, let's say you bought, let's compare these two type of assets: a quick service restaurant, that's a standalone building, or you actually have an apartment building. When you buy the building, you can hire a company that specializes in what is called cost segregation. So they look at what assets you bought. So the breakdown goes like, I had a sample one done a while back. And for example, they do a report, and I don't know, it's just a simple report like this that will break down, for example, the building structure, the roof structure, bathroom vanities, roof covering, windows, building shell and foundation, doors, etc., etc. And they say the depreciation schedule for that is 27 and a half years. So you have depreciation schedules over 27 and a half years. But then they also go into some other things, let's say kitchen cabinets, countertops, kitchen and appliance plumbing, removable floors, carpet, appliance wiring. And they take these as chattels, like personal items, not real estate items. And then they give you a different depreciation schedule, and they put these for, like on the same report, they put them 5-year depreciation schedule. And site fencing, other site improvement, driveway and walks, deck and patio, and they put these at 15-year depreciation. So you have the 27 and a half, you have the 5-year, you have 15-year. So they give you what you can get as accelerated depreciation. And the goal is, let's say the building is gonna make you the first year 200,000. The normal depreciation over 27 and a half year on a building worth X millions, let's say you're gonna have 100,000 in depreciation. So the other 100,000 net income, you're gonna pay taxes on it. But if you take these accelerated depreciation schedules, you can write off a little bit more, so you pay no taxes usually on the first 5 years or 3 years, because you're accelerating the depreciation based on a schedule approved by the IRS. So it is done by companies. You submit it to the CPA, they look at your income, net income from the property, and they write it off. Now, so that has to be done as a study. Now, what happens is when you take depreciation, let's say you paid $5 million for the property, or $1 million, doesn't matter. What happens is you take depreciation, so you take, let's say you were supposed to take, let's say 250,000 in depreciation that year, but you're doing accelerated depreciation, so you're taking like $500,000 in depreciation. What ends up happening is your cost basis goes down. So now your 5 million that you paid becomes 4.5 million. Next year, let's say you're gonna do this for 5 years. Then it's gonna go to 4 million, to 3.5 million, 3 million. But when you sell them, they're gonna say, oh, your cost basis went down. You paid 5, but you took depreciation at 3. So now when you sell, that depreciation you took, the IRS has a formula called recapture depreciation rate, and it's usually at 25%. So how do you avoid the recapture depreciation rate when you sell? You do a 1031 exchange. So your cost basis became 3 million. You sell, you're gonna buy another property of $5 or $6 million. You sell, you do a 1031 exchange. If you remember, those who don't remember, 1031 exchange is a code in the tax that allows you to, within the first 45 days, to identify up to 3 properties that you're gonna roll the money into. You have to be buying a property of equal or higher value. You have to be buying a property with debt like the debt you have. And that's what keeps really the commercial real estate going in the United States very well, because everybody's selling, they wanna avoid, or let's say they wanna defer the taxes till they roll it forward. So a commercial real estate broker ends up making a commission listing a property, and then that client is gonna say, I need to roll my money, so they make a commission identifying a new property, and it keeps the momentum going in real estate. Biden, when he took over, he said that he wanted to stop the 1031 exchange, and if that doesn't cause depreciation in the United States, I don't know what would. So I think they fought him about it, and he came to his senses. Or whoever is making the decision put some sense into him, and that's what happened. So they kept it. So the depreciation, so the question, follow up on the question is, okay, what's the QSR? Quick service restaurants. Say, if you're building a building from the ground up, if you're rehabbing a building, if you're adding space to the building, you can start a depreciation schedule. It's pretty cool. And when you sell and roll your money into a new one, you start a new depreciation schedule for the new one. And whoever bought from you the old one starts a depreciation schedule. It's a bonanza of tax deferral to keep the world of investing flowing. The tax code is actually written in a brilliant way to manage the money of big corporations and individual investments, etc. So if you buy, let's say, a single tenant building, and you're gonna now, we're gonna give them tenant improvement. So they're gonna put a kitchen, and you're gonna maybe run your own space in that single tenant building that's a quick service restaurant. You're gonna put a new floor and all this. You're gonna get a company that's gonna give you the depreciation schedule to get some accelerated depreciation. So you can keep income and defer the taxes on it through the depreciation schedule. And what would benefit you the most buying like in depreciation schedule? Single tenant buildings, apartment buildings, hotels. Well, all these will benefit you a great deal, because single tenant building, you're going to be paying between 600,000 to $1.5 million usually. Apartment buildings, you're going to pay between 3 to 100 million. Hotels, you're going to pay also between, like if it's a motel, you're going to pay between like maybe 3-4 million up to hundreds of millions. All of them are beneficial, all of them are profitable. But of course, the more moving parts you have, like in hotels, the hotel has furniture and appliances and stuff. So you're going to depreciate a lot more and get a lot of benefits with these. You're going to get a little less on apartment building and maybe slightly less on quick service restaurants. It's a very interesting way to defer taxes and reduce your cost basis. Later, when you do 1031 exchange, you're deferring the taxable gain. Now, another question should come up, which is, you know what? I owned the building for 3 years. I didn't know anything about this accelerated depreciation stuff. Can I take it now? Yes, you can. The IRS says, yeah, you bought the building, you forgot to do it. Usually they don't bother you as long as you own the building and you've had it for a while, for so many years. First 20 years, you can start saying now, oh my God, I own the building for 7 years. Let me see if I can get accelerated depreciation on some stuff now. So you can Google companies that do accelerated depreciation work, and then you talk to them. They're usually professionals, licensed, bonded, and they will do the work, and they'll come visit the property and do the formulas.